slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act.
Hello. Talk sewing to me. I was going to say talk Thursday to me, but talk sewing to me. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have my mic on. Let me get this here. Got a new mic. We're going to test this out, see how it goes. Because when I did a little test, I had some feedback from it. And so I'm actually going to see if I can get on Facebook here on my tablet. Hopefully. And then that way, oh, you know what? I'm not even logged in on my tablet. So that shows you I am true. When it comes to my tablet is strictly for business and YouTube and research. I don't have YouTube on it. I don't have Instagram on it. Nope. All for sewing. And I'm going to try to make sure that, see right here, I can see how you see my ring light in my glasses. So I think this is a good spot for me. And hopefully you can be heard. Well, I can be heard. Not you can be heard because I can't hear you. So, replay viewers. I'm going to start off because most of the views that I get on my videos, the few that I get, and I'm thankful and grateful for it, are replay viewers. So I just want to say hello and thank you for watching and supporting my Facebook page. I was going to say support my channel because, you know, there's YouTube. Anywho, I go off on tangents and I actually have notes here so that I don't go off topic, and I'm going to follow my notes, and hopefully this is only going to be 15, 20 minutes at the most, not like last time because I went straight into sewing, and I'm trying to figure out kind of what direction I want to go with these talk sewing to me, and I think I want to keep it very not a high level, but just things to think about. So I think my mission for these videos is going to be to talk about sewing, and because I think there is what people think sewing is, and then there is what sewing actually is. So there's what they think it is versus reality. Sewing is not all rainbows and hush puppies. That's definitely not what it is. It's if you're going to get into it and actually start making clothes, I don't know who that is, but thank you for the heart. I appreciate it. If you are actually going to start sewing clothes that fit you, or sew clothes for other people that fit them, there is a lot of upfront work that you have to do. I started sewing, I can't remember what year it was, but I started off with a ruler, scissors, and I had a sewing machine. I probably had a tape measure. I can't remember. Oh, that's the husband. I see you. And I tried to make a skirt. I failed. It was horrible. I wish I had it. I also tried to make a jumper. I really didn't understand how to read a pattern. And I want to pause there. I want to go back let's go back 20 years ago, maybe 18. My daughter is 19. Let's go back 18 years ago. I tried sewing. I was pregnant with her. I tried sewing and I wanted to make her a little dress. And I didn't know anything about fabric. And I went to the fabric store. I don't remember which one it was. And I bought felt. I bought home like felt. It was felt. The worst. You can't make a baby dress. It was so, when a dress was done, the dress was thick like this, you know, with the arms in. It had no flexibility in it whatsoever. I didn't know how to read a pattern. I saw something about binding, and I had no idea what bias binding was. And I was like, what the heck is that? The computer, you know, computers weren't used at that time like that. And I remember there was a woman at work who sewed, and I asked her at work, I said, hey, I'm working on a sewing pattern, and it says something about like bias binding. I don't even know what that is. And I went over to her house, and she showed me how to do it. She was a good coworker. She showed me how to do it, and I did it, but I didn't know why I did that. I had no idea why did I have to take this fabric And why was I putting it on this dress, like around the neck collar and around the arms? And what is it? And so I think the goal of the channel, I keep saying channel because I think it's YouTube. I think the goal of what I want to do here and on my podcast is to talk about the whys of why the things that we do. Why do we do this? Why do we, why do you use this tool? Why do you have to know this? What's the important, like all those whys? Because there's a how. You can watch any video and learn how to do something, but you're not really going to get that deep down nitty gritty detail. And that's what I'm here for. So I am here for the people who not only want to know the how, but the whys and the when. So my first topic is going to be about fitting. And I got to glance at my notes because I want to make sure that I don't go off topic. And if you see me rocking back and forth because I'm standing, because I find that I have better energy when standing. I think when sitting, I can get a little bit a little bit stale. So I'm going to stand up. And if I start rocking, just rock with me, right? So the first thing is that you have to be, when it comes to sewing, the first thing is it's fitting. Fitting is essential to sewing clothes. And you have to be realistic with your body. You have to really take a look at your body and know the shape of your body, understand, where you have curves and where you don't have curves, because you have to take that and you have to compare it to the pattern. And you have to know, okay, this is my body and this is what the pattern, how am I going to make these two match? You got to determine what is your style. Or, there are some people who sew and they sew a lot of clothes out of knit because they love form fitting. They want something that's going to accentuate all their curves. They're going to want something that's skin tight. That's not my style. I don't know what would make it would be nice, maybe back when I was younger, but right now, I'm not baggy, so I'm not into boxy clothes. Like some people could wear boxy clothes and boxy pants. I like shape in my clothes. I like flow. My dresses, I like circle skirts because I like the way that the skirt moves whenever you're in it. I like things, my collars to hit about right here. I'm not one that would show a lot of cleavage in anything that I wear. And that's important because that will determine kind of like, because I don't show any type of cleavage or have an open back, I don't have to adjust patterns to account for that. Like, some people I want a deeper cut. My whole thing is if I get a pattern and it has a deeper cut, I want to know how do I change that to bring it up some, so I'm not so showing too much of my I was going to say a word that my breast. Okay, that's the proper word. Okay, next thing is, regardless of your shape and no matter what you look like, your clothes have to be comfortable. When I first started sewing clothes, I didn't know anything about fit. I didn't know anything about adjustments, and I have shirts that are tight in the back. I don't have a broad back. I don't have broad shoulders, but the pattern was I needed a little bit of room, and there are different ways you can do that. You can add more fabric and then put some darts in the shoulder, or you might want to put it, if it's a certain kind of shirt that a tuck would look nice in the back, that's something that you can do. So you have to know, your clothes have to be comfortable, because you don't want to make a garment and then you wear it out and about and you are not comfortable, because it's, I think I said this in another video where you're going to like have your arms, up around you and you're going to be like, yeah, it's cute from a distance. It's cute from a distance, but you don't want somebody to roll up on you and they're going to be like, did you make that? So that's the question that you don't want to hear when you first start sewing, because you're going to feel like, does it look like I made it? And when you get to the point where you buy something from the store and then you wear that, or you make something and people are like wondering, did you make that? Did you make that? Because they can't tell the difference. That's when you know I've arrived. The next thing is, there are different ways that you can make adjustments to your clothes. And So whenever I started the shirt making class last night, and I had opened it up to 3 people, and in all transparency and honesty, I have a class of 1, and she is okay with it, and I am okay with it. And when we were going through the pattern, the first thing we did was we took all her measurements. So whenever I do the sewing class, it's not just about sewing a shirt. It's not going to be about sewing a skirt or a pants or an apron. It's about sewing it in a way that fits and flatters you. So we took all of her measurements. Some we are not going to use, and some we are. And we did measurements using a ruler. So we made some adjustments to the pattern using a ruler. We talked a little bit about doing a pivot, a slide and pivot for her hip area. And then we also did a little bit of the minot. I think it's called minot or minot. We also did a little bit of another technique as, for example, if she had a dart in the shirt and how she would move that, because, you know, there is no one way that's going to cover everything. You might have to do a different cut. You might have to do a different type of measurement to fix your shoulder versus what you're going to do to fix your height or the length versus what you want to do to fix the width, whether it's at your bust, your waist, or your hip. It's about having the right tools and being able to build anything. So one of my greatest tools is YouTube University. And if you have been following me on my personal page, if you're connected to my personal page here on Facebook, I made a little clip of how we redid our deck. And our old deck, you know, the wood was kind of rotten. It was falling apart. It's been painted a couple times and it was time to go. We took everything but the frame, we took everything off that deck. And having the right tools and then learning how to work with, we did composite wood and how to put up a railing and do all the spacing. We meaning the Hubbins and I, we were able to rebuild our deck from the frame that was already there all the way up to putting lights on the post, because we made sure that we had the right tools. We got some proper training, and I can soak up knowledge. I'll admit that. I've been told that, you know, my brain works a little bit different. It's kind of a masculine brain, and I'm okay with that. But we had the knowledge, we had the right tools, and we built the deck. And the same thing with sewing. If you have the training, if you have the skills, and you have the tools, you can make whatever you want. Now, there's people who sew quilts. They might not be able to sew a garment, but someone who sews a garment, they're going to be able to sew a quilt. I'm just saying, that's my thought process. So the patterns that you get at the store, they're designed in there's a generic shape. So say me, you, and 3 other people were all staying in a row, shoulder to shoulder. And they said, okay, we're going to make this new dress pattern. Which one of your bodies are we going to use? Everybody's going to put their hand up. Use me, use me. But they can't do that. So even though somebody might be the same height as me, the same weight, that doesn't mean that their waist is where my waist is. That doesn't mean that the curve of my back or the shape of my bust is the same as theirs. And so how the adjustments that I'm going to make to my pattern is completely different from the adjustments that you're going to make to your pattern. So it's knowing no pattern is going to, if you get a pattern and it has shape to it, it's not a boxy, just like a circle skirt or one of those tent dresses, but it's going to have some shaping to it. You're going to have to make assignment. Mike, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you. You're going to have to make changes to the pattern. If you want it to fit you, you're going to have to make changes, and knowing how to change them in order. So here's the thing. One thing that I want to make, that I would want to get, if there was one thing that I want to get across in this video, is do not do what I'm going to call is hope sewing. Don't hope sow. And hope sowing is that you're hoping that what you're sowing is going to turn out right. You're going to cut your pattern out. You're going to cut your fabric out. You're going to start sewing it together, and then you're going to get to a point where it's like time to try it on. And you're going to be excited, and you're going to try it on, and you're going to be like, what the hell? What the hell did I just do? I've been there. And some people call it blindfold, sewing blind, and I call it hope sewing. And I was trying to figure out how to do sewing hope, but it's hope sewing, like sewing hope. You ever heard the saying? And I think my husband says it to the kids whenever they say, what are we going to have to eat? And he said some poke and roll. It's where you poke out your lip, roll your eyes, and wish you had something to eat. I think that's how it goes. So I was trying to come up with a play on words like that with, sewing and hoping, but I just like hope sewing. So let's not do hope sewing. Let me go around. So what happens when you do hope sow? You finally have something in your hands. And you were really hoping that it was going to turn out right. You really hoped and you wanted it to turn out right. And so you ball it up, you wad it up, and you toss it. And you've created a water. You don't want to create waters. I've probably, I still create some waters every now and then, but it's only because I'm trying to get to the perfect fit. Whenever I sew, I'm not trying to get it to kind of fit. I want it to fit me perfectly, a perfect fit. You can fit perfectly, however you want to, however it is, that's just what it is. Now I'm going to do caveat. I'm going to go back, pause, put a pin in here. I'm going to go back my first video. This is live. I make mistakes. Words are going to come out of my mouth. You're going to be like, what the hell did she just say? But you know what? If you rock with me, you rock with me. Thank you so much for understanding. So when you look at a pattern is a specific length, and the pattern goes out and in, out and in. Most of them. A sleeve, out and in. Hope so sounds like a t-shirt. What are you talking about? Hope so sounds like a t-shirt. You messing with me. Out and in. So you got to know when the fabric goes out, when it has to go in. I need to take the tape measure my bust, measure it on the pattern, and figure out, do I need to make the bust bigger? Do I need to move it up? Do I need to move it down? Do I need to move out? I was on Instagram one time, and I saw this lovely person. It was a beautiful, beautiful dress, and she had waist darts in. And waist darts are the fisheye darts that are in the front of your bodice, and it's the widest part is at your waist, and then the end of the bodice fits right underneath your apex. Hers didn't. Her dart went up and over her apex. And at first I was thinking, maybe that's how it's supposed to be. But I looked at the pattern number and I was like, oh, I wonder what. So then I go and I do a search for that pattern. I'm like, yeah, those darts aren't supposed to come up like that. But what do? Me as a stranger, as someone who I don't know her, she doesn't know me. I'm like, hey, what am I supposed to do? Hey, sis, I like your dress, but your darts aren't supposed to be going up your boobs like that. I don't know, but you get a A for effort. That was it. But it was a beautiful looking dress. But eventually she's going to find out about those darts, and she's going to be like, I really did that. Like when I was doing my sleeves, I put my shirts on backwards, and I was probably, doing something like this or whatever. And if someone looked at that collar, that cuff, and noticing that it was overlapping the wrong way and the button was on the wrong side, somebody was probably like, oh, bless her heart. But anyways, when you go to the department store and you get some clothes, when you go to and get some jeans, you got to take a couple pair of jeans. So you're like, you know what? I'm in a size 14. I'm going to grab a couple size 14s because one of these are going to fit me. So there is this technique. It's not a technique. There is this phenomenon or whatever. It's called the turn of the cloth. And the turn of the cloth is, I'll use my notepad here. So the turn of the cloth has to do with the width. So I have this pad, and if I take a sheet of paper and I fold it in half and I cut right here on the edge and cut out a nice shape and open it, it's going to look one way. Then I grab another single sheet of paper. If I do that with each sheet of paper, say I did a butterfly, all my butterflies are going to look exactly the same. But if I have a stack of paper here, and I fold it in half, look, see what happens here at the end? This is called the turn. This right here is called the turn of the cloth. And it means that when there is, when a cloth turns, it alters, each sheet is changed one bit at a time. And so if I were to take this and draw in a butterfly and had something that could cut this, and I opened it up, all my butterflies are going to be different. The same thing happens whenever they make clothes. Fast fashion has a pile. I'm going to talk about jeans. So denim. Fast fashion has a thick pile of denim fabric. And they have a stamp or a cutter that's going to cut all of the pants in size 14. Just come down. But what happens is, as those knives come down and hit the fabric, as it goes down, fabric starts to move out the way. And as fabric at the top starts to slide away because the knife has to go down, it starts shifting the fabric below it. So the top of the pile that has the size 12 jeans, those are going to be a size 14. Those are going to be a size 14. But the fabric that's at the bottom is going to still be labeled as a size 14, but it's going to be different. That's why when you go to the store, you got to grab several pairs of jeans into the dressing room and try them on to see which ones fit you. Same thing with shirts, dresses, all of those things. And whenever they make these clothes, and it sounds like I'm trying to tell people to stop shopping in the store. I'm not. Just giving some facts. Whenever the clothes are made, the people who make the clothes, they want that outfit to look great on the hanger, and they want it to look great on the mannequin. So what do they do whenever they take an outfit and they put it on the mannequin? They go behind it and they grab the fabric and they squeeze it and they put clips, because they want to show the form of how this shirt could possibly look on you if you have that shape. And they also create the clothes so that it looks good on a rack. Now, whenever I make something for myself and I hang it on a regular rack, it's shaped for me. It's not shaped for a rack. And so, if I take my husband's shirts something that I would make for him and put it on a hanger, it's probably going to look a little bit billowy because it's made to fit him. It's not a size X and made to look good on a rack. Well, that's why they put shirts in those packages. So that was a bad example of my husband's shirts. Really nice shirts. They have them folded up in the little packages. So anywho, good fit does not require you to have a great body. Embrace yourself. Like, if you see my jacket, look, when I looked on that envelope, that was a bad jacket. And that girl was probably like a size 2. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be a size 2, and I'm not going to bust my butt to lose weight to get to that size. So what I got to do is I'm going to take that pattern and I'm going to make it fit me in all my glorious curves. And so that is the message that I want to leave tonight, is to work with what you got. Work with what you have. I put on the little card, work with what you have. But in Shawnee's talk, work with what you got. Sew clothes that fit you well. And that is my message tonight. Thank you for watching, replay viewers. I appreciate it. Happy sewing. Bye.